Hello and welcome back. This is class number 3 in our Love and Compassion series. So today we're going to concentrate on compassion and we're going to focus first on ourselves because I think it's important to have compassion and love for yourself so you can have it for other people. So for today's class, you may need a strap and a couple of blocks. These are optional. And a blanket will also come in handy for our peak pose, but you can also roll up your mat for your needs. So you may not need any of these props. It's just nice to have these. They're all optional. So if you have them, set them to the side for now. We'll start with today's quote by BKS Iyengar. Yoga allows you to rediscover a sense of wholeness in your life, where you do not feel like you are constantly trying to fit broken pieces together. So we're going to start today in a reclined posture. So we're going to have our soles of our feet together in our bound angle pose, and we're going to lie back on our mat into a nice reclined posture. So lie back on your back and have your knees open and your soles of your feet together. And while you're in this pose, I want you to think about something, breathing, of course. I want you to breathe here. That's first. But I would like for you to think about something you don't like about yourself, something you dislike about yourself. And I know for most of us, this is easy. We have a long list. Pick one thing. And throughout today's class, I want you to think about that thing you dislike about yourself. And I want you to send it love and compassion. So have compassion, have gratitude, even if you don't like, maybe it's a body part you don't like, have gratitude for what it does for you. And have compassion for yourself, much like you would a good friend. So if you had a friend who says, oh, I don't like my whatever, fill in the blank, you would have compassion for that friend. And what would you say to encourage them or to make them feel better while still remaining honest? So just think about that through today's class. One more deep breath here. And exhale and bring your knees together. Roll over to one side. And bring yourself back up. From here, we're going to come into a hero's pose briefly. Sit back on your heels. And we're going to just stretch back and stretch open the quads. So just stretch back any amount. And you should really feel that quad opener. If you can come down on your elbows, go for it. I am unable to do that. So I'm going to stay right where I need to be for today. This is where my body says, that's enough. You should feel this. You'll feel sensation, but you should not feel pain. If you feel pain, come out of this pose. Breathe here, really feel that opening in your quads. And exhale, let's come back up. I know that can be intense for a lot of people. Okay, from here we're going to come to the top of our mat. And this is where we're going to do some halfway lifts and forward folds today, so you might need your blocks for that if you know you need to bring the ground up to you. So again, practice with your body. Have compassion for the body that you have. And have compassion for that thing that you dislike about yourself, whether it's a body part or a trait. Throughout today's class, remember that. Come into mountain pose, standing, grounding down with all four corners of your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead, and exhale, fold forward, bring your hands down to meet the ground. You can have your knees bent, as usual. Inhale and halfway lift. You can also put your hands on your shins if you don't have blocks to come up to a flat back. And exhale, release. And from here, step your right leg back, lower that back right knee. And inhale and come all the way up, raising your arms up overhead. And exhale, arms down, hands down to the ground, and step back into downward facing dog. Stretch here. Really bending the knees if you need to, opening up into this first down dog of the day for you. And now inhale, look forward, and step your right foot forward. Bring that back left knee down. And inhale, bring your arms up overhead. For today, I'm tucking my back toes, but you don't have to. And on the exhale, step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold in. Knees bent or straight. Inhale, come all the way back up. And back into your mountain pose. All right. From here, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Touch ground. Inhale, halfway lift.
And now from here, step back into a warrior one. So warrior one is facing toward the front of the room. So you have your left leg is back, your right leg is bent, your left leg is a 45-degree angle, and your hips are square to the front of the room. Inhale here, either arms at your sides, or they can come up overhead. On the exhale, pivot on that back left foot and open up into a nice high lunge. From here, clasp the hands behind your back and inhale and open the chest. And now from here, we're going to inhale and open up into a warrior two. So warrior two stance, remember, is heel to arch alignment. So your heel from your right leg will intersect your left arch. Bring your arms up to your sides. And now you're open up into a warrior two. So your hips are to the side, open to the side, but you're looking over your right hand. Breathe here. And exhale, bring that right forearm down to your right knee and open, spin your chest open to the left. And now we're into a nice side angle pose here. Inhale here. And on the exhale, we're going to come back, bring our hands to the ground on either side and step back into downward facing dog. Breathing here. Inhale, rock forward into plank. Exhale, lower down to the ground. You can always modify with your knees down or come all the way down to the ground. From here, you have a choice. You can either do cobra or locust pose. So cobra is planting your hands next to your chest and rising up, opening up your chest. Or locust pose, bringing your hands back behind you along the sides with your palms facing down. And now lifting your chest, your head, your arms, and your legs. So pick whichever one's best for you. Inhale into that pose, cobra or locust. Exhale, lower back down. And let's exhale back into downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath here. Let's do about 2 rounds of breath here to reset before we do the other side. And now you're going to inhale and look forward and bring that left foot forward into warrior one. So now your left foot is forward and bent. Your right foot is back at a 45-degree angle and your hips are square to the front of the room. Inhale your arms up overhead. Breathing here. On the exhale, pivot off that right leg, that right leg, and come into your high lunge. From here, clasp the hands behind your back. Use a strap if you'd like. Open up the chest, shine it forward. And now on the exhale, we're going to open up into warrior two. So heel to arch alignment, you may have to readjust your stance. Bend deeply into that front leg and bring both of your hands up, your arms out to the sides, looking over that left arm. Breathing here. On the exhale, bring your left forearm to your left leg and rise your right arm up overhead into a side angle pose. Spinning your chest open. And from here, bring your hands to the ground and step back and do downward facing dog. Breathing here. Inhale, rock forward, and exhale, lower down to the ground. Untuck your back toes. From here, we're going to do the same thing. So either inhale into a cobra or inhale into locust. You decide which is best for you. I'm going to do cobra this time. Inhale and lift up, cobra or locust. And exhale, lower back down. And from here, we're going to tuck our toes and exhale back into warrior one. Downward facing dog. Getting confused there. Downward facing dog. Breathing here. Letting all that go for a moment. Looking forward, step forward on your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. And inhale, come all the way back up into your mountain pose. So we're going to do that same series once more on each side. So here we go. You're in your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And on the exhale, step your left foot back into warrior one. So your right foot is forward, your hips are square at the front of the room. Inhale, arms up overhead. And on the exhale, pivot and open into your crescent lunge or your high crescent lunge. Exhale and bring those arms back behind you. Clasp them, use a strap, use your shirt. Just open your arms if you don't have any of those things available. Open that chest. And now we're going to open up into warrior two. So heel to arch alignment. Bend deeply in that front knee. Arms up out to the sides. And look over your right hand. Breathe here. Stay for the exhale. Inhale. And now exhale, come into side angle pose. So your forearm is on your right forearm is on your right knee. Left arm is up overhead. Spin your chest open to the left. Breathing deeply here. Exhale, hands down to the ground and step back in a downward facing dog. Stay here for 2 breaths, in and out through the nose. Bent or straight legs. And on the inhale, rock forward into plank. And exhale, lower down. You can always modify. Lower down to the ground. You have an option here. We're going to do either cobra or locust. You pick. I'll do locust this time. So from here, inhale. If you're doing locust, raise your hands, your feet, your legs, and your chest all up. Or come into cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale and come back up into a downward facing dog. And we'll do the other side to balance things out. Stay here for another breath or two. Inhale, look forward and bring that the left foot forward, and your right foot is back and grounded down into warrior one. Inhale, your arms up overhead. And now exhale and pivot on that back right foot into your high lunge. From here, clasp the hands behind your back. Open your chest, open the shoulders. Breathing. And then from here, open up into your warrior two. So adjust your stance. Your left leg is forward. Arms out to the sides, looking over your left arm. Breathe here. Exhale. Inhale. And now on the exhale, come into side angle pose. So your left forearm is to your left knee. Right arm up overhead. Spinning your chest open to the right. Staying grounded in that back leg. Breathing here. And now exhale. Bring your hands down to the ground. Step back in a downward dog. Stay here for 2 breaths. Inhales and exhales through your nose. Inhale, look forward. Rock forward into plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. And once more, you have the option to either inhale into cobra or locust. So pick your choice. And the inhale, come all the way up, your choice. And exhale, lower back down. Tuck your back toes. And let's come back into downward facing dog and take 3 cleansing breaths here to cleanse out both sides there. On the inhale, walk forward on your mat. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale and fold in. Inhale and come all the way back up. And bring your hands into prayer position at mountain pose. All right. We're going to do not that entire sequence all over again, but we're going to come back down to the ground here in a moment. So we're going to inhale and reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. From here, just step back into your standard downward facing dog. Breathing here, opening those legs. This is a great all-around pose to open everything up. Inhale, rock forward into your plank. And now exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. All right, from here, I'd like for you to come up into a Sphinx pose. So your elbows will be under your shoulders, your hands will be out flat on the mat. Really stretch, come out of your hips so you're not compressing that lower back. Really come out and open in your chest for a moment here. And then I would like for you to take your left hand back behind you. And you can take your right forearm onto the mat at an angle if you'd like, whatever feels best. Just reach back. And this time for this one, we're just going to twist and look at that foot. So you may not be able to clasp that foot. That may be an issue. You can always use a strap to help. You can strap up your foot if you'd like. Or you can stay here and bend in as you need to. But if you're able to clasp that and that feels all right in your body, then bring that left foot into your body as much as you can. Twisting and looking over to your left. Breathing. Releasing that. And now switch. So now your left forearm is in front of you. And now look behind you and reach back and clasp that right leg if that's possible. Bending that in as much as you'd like. You can always stay more up. So pick what's good for you. Twisting to the right. Exhale and let that go. And from here, gonna inhale and come back up into a downward facing dog. Breathe here. And now step forward on your mat. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale and come all the way back up to your mountain pose. All right, we're going to work a little bit on quad strengthening, and this is also a bit of a core strengthener too. So bring the soles of your feet, the big toe sides of your feet touching. And from here, you're just going to sink back as if you were sitting in an imaginary chair. You'll right away feel this fire up your quads. You can stay right here with your hands on your quads if that helps, or you can bring your hands into a prayer position, or for a little bit more of a challenge, bring your arms up overhead. You'll feel this in your core, engage that core, and you're also going to really feel that in your quads, and this is going to help us for our peak pose today. So breathe here. I know this is a tough pose. Hold it for just another 2 breaths in and out. One more breath in. Exhale and release that pose. That's fires up the quads quickly and the core. Very nice. From there, go ahead and release down into a nice forward fold. Inhale and look halfway out in front of you. Exhale, release again, forward fold. And inhale and come back up to mountain pose. Breathe here for a moment. Release that. All right, we're going to come into our balance pose for today, and this is Warrior 3. This is where we've done this one if you've done it in some of my other previous classes, so you'll probably remember it. Block is very handy on this pose. If you'd rather not use blocks, you've got a wall space would work great too. You can use your hands out to the wall. You can use a chair, whatever works for you. I'll show it the modification with the blocks first. So from here, we're going to balance on that right leg. And then with the modification, you would actually start, so you're going to bend forward. Place your hands on the block, so you've got a nice halfway lift going here. You've got a nice L shape. And then from here, you're going to take that left leg and lift it straight back behind you. This is a great way to strengthen for this pose because it does take a lot of strength in your core and your legs. So breathe here. If you feel ready, you can always take your hands off the block so they can be on a wall, they can be on a chair. Find that steady gaze, find your point. Bring your hands to prayer or behind you. And you're tipping forward, you're almost looking like a T. Don't lock that right knee though, that's important. Always keep your hands on the blocks if that is just more helpful. So really zip up, and really feel engaging your core there. You don't want to dump into the core too much here. And exhale, release that leg down. So on this one, I'll show it without the blocks. But always, if the blocks are a great way to get into that pose, it still gives you the core strengthening, the leg strengthening, and it just helps as you're getting used to your balance. And you can always take one hand off the block at a time. The wall is also great. So we're in that T shape. Your arms can be out against a wall or on a table or on a chair while you lift the other leg. So those are all wonderful modifications please use them. Listen to what your body says. Okay? Remember having compassion for our body, the good and the bad, even the things that we don't necessarily like. So here, we're going to balance on the left leg. And then as you feel ready, you're going to tip your body forward, find that gaze on the floor in front of you, and bring that right leg up behind you. If you fall out, just come back into the pose. Use your blocks if you need to. Really engage the core here. That's going to help. Breathing's going to help, and really finding a gaze, a point to look at. And looking for that T shape if possible. Breathe here. And exhale, release it, and come back up to stand. That is a strengthening and serious balance, but it's a great, great pose. All right, we're going to introduce our peak pose next. So we've done some things to warm our body up. We've done some lunges. We've done some back bending to really help us get into this next pose. And the pose that we're going to do is called camel pose. And I'm going to show you the different steps to get to there. And then you may find yourself going to all the way, or you may not. Again, with any pose, especially back bending, but any pose really in general, listen to what your body says. If your body says, stage 1 is enough for me, don't try to get to stage 3. Because you're just going to injure yourself, and then you can't do yoga for like 2 weeks, so, or a month or whatever. So we're not looking for injury. We're not looking to push past and to get into pain. Sensation, yes. Pain, no. Cannot stress that enough. I hope that I've said that enough that it really is getting into your head. I have sensitive knees, I have found, so I find putting a blanket underneath my knees is really, really helpful. And the more you want to pad it up, that is perfectly fine. I actually like a lot of padding. If you don't have a blanket, you can always roll up your mat, and you could use that as padding. So you find what's best for you. You may not need this at all, but my knees are sensitive. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into a kneeling position. I'm going to do this from the side so that you can really see what we're doing here. A block may also come in handy. A couple blocks could come in handy. But I'm going to show you a couple of different options here. So we'll just have these at the ready. But for now, my legs are at hip distance apart. And we are now going to open up the chest. And stage 1 is taking your hands back to your lower back. And simply opening your chest a bit and rounding a little bit. So your head is back a bit. Your hips are in line over your knees. You're just bending back a bit here. And this is really energizing and strengthening in itself. So you can try that first. When you're ready, come back and sit on your heels. You're always welcome to watch these poses and then try them on your own. All right, so we're going to come back up. And now the next option is to have blocks next to you so you can come a little bit further. So same thing. You're going to start with your hands on your back. And from here, you're going to inhale. And remember, you're going to really lift out of the hip area, the hips, and start to bend backwards any amount. If you feel for it, and there is a block, you could always do one side at a time. This is a great way to get into this pose. And if you feel ready, you can bring the other one. And what you're doing here is you're opening up that chest area, the throat. Exhale and come back down. So some really important points about that. The full pose, I have a hard time doing, and for a variety of reasons. Eventually, if you really find that you're really open and warm, you can come back and you can either tuck your toes and reach back with both and do each one, or you can do one at a time. This is a great way to get into it too. So you can do this, but when you come back up, tuck your chin and bring it back up. So carefully come out of that pose. So again, to warm up for this, you can either stretch back this way. You can bring one arm back to either a block or your foot at a time. And if you feel ready, only if you feel ready, I don't want to hurt myself on camera because that would be embarrassing. If you're able to, another option is really great, is to bring a block up on your, this is also a really good one too. So now I'm reaching back, I'm just helping myself get to my foot. So the full expression would be, your hands will be on your ankles. Breathing here. And then carefully bring yourself back up. Chest is really open in that pose. Really feel that in your quads. Sit back on your heels. Nice. Breathing there.
All right. From there, we're just going to stretch back into a quick child's pose to kind of release that lower back before we go into a couple of wind down poses. Inhale and come back up. And from here, we're going to do, we're going to stretch out that right leg out in front of us and bring that left foot into your right inner thigh. From here, you're going to twist over that right leg, looking over that right leg. Inhale, get tall, and then fold forward any amount. Just going to release what we've been doing. Breathe here. Any amount. It's not about bringing your head down. You want to keep more of that straight back if possible. All right, now we're going to switch. So bring that left foot out in front of you. Now your right foot will come into your left inner thigh. Twist your body over that right leg, the left leg, excuse me. Inhale, get tall, and exhale and come forward any amount. Breathing here. Inhale, come back up. And now we're going to come onto our backs for a nice bridge pose. So come all the way back down. Your soles of your feet are on the ground. Inhale and lift your hips up. Shoulder blades onto your back. Opening the chest and throat, releasing all of that. Breathing here. And then exhale and come down and let everything go onto the mat. So just take your legs out in front of you, your arms out to the sides, completely fully relax into Shavasana. Let all of that go. Really let yourself go to the mat for this one. Notice your breath here. Notice how's your breathing. Start to slow it down. To really get in tune with your breath. Inhales and exhales and letting your body go. We did some good work today, some challenging stuff. We worked into a camel pose, which even for me, I've been doing this for several years. Camel is still tough for me. I don't have quite the opening where I need it. So, but you can always take one of those modifications that I showed you. So just breathe here. Congratulate yourself that you showed up to the mat today. You tried something new. You should feel nice and you should feel some energy going through your body right now just from that nice deep back bend in camel. And from here, I'd like for you to stretch your arms and legs out long on the mat. And then bring your knees into your chest. Hug them in really tight. Give yourself a nice big hug and say thank you to whatever it was at the beginning of the class that you didn't like about yourself. Give it thanks and gratitude and have compassion for that thing that you dislike or that you want to change about yourself. Roll over to your right-hand side and come back to a seated position. And from here, we're going to take about a minute in a short meditation. So close your eyes. Notice your breath in and out through your nose. And then what I want you to do for the next minute of quiet, I want you to notice your thoughts and see them come in like ocean waves crashing on the shore and then receding back out into the ocean. So as a thought comes in, just watch it as an observer and let it go back out. Watch it come in and go back out. Breathing here and just noticing what thoughts may come to your mind. I'll give you a moment here of quiet while you do that. Noticing your breath and just observe your thoughts. Try not to go with the stories or get attached to the thought. Just notice it and let it go like an ocean wave. Now gently blink your eyes open. You're always welcome to stay in that if you're feeling that. Stay with it. Stay here a few more minutes after this video is done, or go back to that. I leave you with a small little assignment for this upcoming week or weeks. Find a little time, a few minutes to yourself, to do a little bit of inner work for you. So that might be in the form of journaling. Maybe it is through meditation. Maybe it's through reading something uplifting or something that's going to help you and maybe something that you're dealing with in life. But just have a little bit of time to yourself, 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour if you have it. You have some quiet time to yourself to go inside and just see what you need personally to help you on this road of life. Thank you for joining me. I hope that this class was beneficial. I hope that you're enjoying all of the classes in this series. And I look forward to you in the next class. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Excuse me. Namaste.